Shalom, shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, who grew well, and salutations and blessings to you 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Alright, so the title of this lesson is A Forecast of Sedition. Now, you had this article come out March 20th, right, from the National Post, titled Secret RCMP Report Warns Canadians May Revolt Once They Realize How Broke They Are. Right, RCMP standing for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, right, which is our federal task force. And they pretty much gave a report to the federal government. Now, one first thing I'm going to notice or point out is the date, March 20th, right? This is the time of what? What is this a time of? The equinox. Okay, the equinox, which to the elites, right, they have their occultism and they have their esoteric knowledge, and they do things behind closed doors. They, where they think nobody can see them. So this is a time of great judgment. We're in a feast of unleavened bread, but we just had the Passover, the Pesach, right? Saturday evening. And, this is a time of great judgment. We're in the time of March, the God of war. So it says a secret RCMP report is warning the federal government that Canada may descend into civil unrest once citizens realize the hopelessness of their economic situation. And this is actually prophecy, man. This is, let me get this. Right, this is 2 Ezra 2 or 5 and 12. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. And we're coming into that time where people are really gonna understand the hopelessness of their situation, and it's gonna further drive, their savageness, their primal instincts of just tearing shit up, right? It says the coming period of recession will accelerate the decline in living standards that the younger generations have already witnessed compared to earlier generations, right? So it says, for example, many Canadians under 35 are unlikely ever to be able to buy a place to live, it adds. The report labeled secret, and the secrets are coming out. Right, the Most High shall cause your tongue to fall upon yourself. It says, labeled secret is intended as a piece of special operational information to be distributed only within the RCMP and among decision makers in the federal government. A heavy redacted version was made public as a result of an access to information request filed by Matt Malone. Okay, down here it says, describing itself in an introduction as a scanning exercise, the report is intended to highlight trends in both Canada and abroad that could have a significant effect on the Canadian government and the RCMP. It says, right from the get-go, the report authors warn that whatever Canada's current situation, it will probably deteriorate further in the next 5 years, and it's going to be a lot faster than that. All right, you know why? Because the Most High is shortening the time. Okay, the time is actually running out, right? It says, in addition to worsening living standards, the RCMP also warns of a future increasingly defined by unpredictable weather and seasonal catastrophes, such as wildfires and flooding. Okay. Another major theme of the report is that Canadians are set to become increasingly disillusioned with their government, which authors mostly chalk up to misinformation, conspiracy theories, and paranoia. This is a big part of prophecy, because what they're really saying here, all right, amongst all the conspiracy theorists and the wackos and all that, is the Israelites. The Israelites are bringing out the truth, what they deem as misinformation, conspiracy theories, and paranoia, because they don't want you to know what the hell is really going on. So that's why they're working very hard to ban the scriptures, ban the talking points of the scriptures, right? And ban pretty much free speech, right? So you can't talk the talk. You pretty much have to accept what the rulership, what the government tells you. It says law enforcement should expect continuing and political, it's like a continuing social and political polarization, fueled by misinformation campaigns. And then this devil has some nerve, man. This is the devil. This man's talking about misinformation when he just pretty much force you people to accept something in your body, a foreign agent in your body, and then turned around and said, well, we didn't force you. You had a choice. When Trudeau was saying about, oh, if you don't take that, you're going to be restricted from society pretty much. That's the damn devil for you, man. And you people are just peons, you're sheeple, you're just useless eaters, man. You're a useful idiot. That's what you are. The elites call you a useful idiot. Look up that. Go look up the beware of the useful idiot. Right? It says, law enforcement should expect continuing social and political polarization. Polarization means what? Division. Division. Right? Everybody's switching over to, in Canada, the Conservatives, in America, the Republicans. Right? Trump and this guy, Polivier. Forget his name, the French guy. Right? Everybody's switching over. Right? And there's going to come a lot of division, man. And that's the times we're coming into, because the Lord, he said he's the one that's doing it. Matter of fact, let me get that. Luke 12:51. It says, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. In the NLT, do you think I am come to bring peace to the earth? No, I have come to divide people against each other. So that spirit of division, it comes from the Most High first and foremost. Okay? It says, ironically, among the report's more heavily redacted sections is one carrying the subtitle Erosion of Trust. Why? Because a lot of people are finding out that the government ain't shit. The government doesn't really care about you. Okay? All right? They're just using you as a resource. The past 7 years have seen marked social and political polarization in the Western world. Reads a partial first sentence with the entire rest of the section deleted by government censors. Esau's studying, man. Esau's collecting the data. He's looking at what's going on. He's not an idiot. Esau's looking at the statistics, making his reports and then giving it to the federal government. I'm talking about the RCMP. It says, ironically, among the report's more heavily redacted sections is one carrying the subtitle Erosion of Trust. Like I read that part. The censor's pen also deleted most of a section warning about paranoid populism. Capitalizing on the rise of political polarization and conspiracy theories have been populists willing to tailor their message to appeal to extremist movements. As I said, man, a lot of this is cold talk for you Israelites, all right? So a lot of you jakes that think this is just a gimmick, you're just on the highway screaming at the white man's the devil and nations are going into slavery, and you really don't know what the hell's going on, man. It says, in terms of declining living standards and inaccessible home ownership, the RCMP's warnings are indeed in line with available statistics. What did I just say? All right? There's no secret they can keep from the book of Ezekiel, that were wiser than Daniel. Right? It says Canadian productivity, measured in terms of GDP per capita, has been trending downward since at least the 1980s. But this has accelerated dramatically in recent years, even as per worker productivity rises in many of our peer countries. An analysis last year by University of Calgary economist Trevor Tome found that if Canada had merely kept pace with U.S. productivity growth for the last 5 years, Canadian per capita earnings would be $5,500 higher than they are now. Okay, now let me get another article, but first let me bring out this scripture. Hold on. 2 Ezra 15 and 14 in the NLT, in the GNT, the Good News. The world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. Division. Polarization, what we were just reading about. Verse 16, there will be great political turmoil. with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. What is that called? Sedition, right? Sedition, anarchy. Anarchy is the transitional point between a legitimate government and the next people in line, in rulership. Anarchy is chaos. And Esau loves anarchy. That's how he works through. You know, Esau even in this theory of evolution says the earth, the whole universe came about in anarchy, chaos. And then order was fashioned. So this man loves anarchy. He's the top anarchist. All right, verse 17. There will no longer be free access to the cities. Why? You're gonna have checkpoints. Okay, you're gonna have military checkpoints. People asking, where are you going? Show me your ID. Show me that C-hip. Right? It says, verse 18, because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. You gotta understand, in that time, you're not gonna have, what is that shit? News coming out, right? The update. Go on Reddit, look at the videos coming out that's not in the news. Go on Instagram, go on Telegram. You're not gonna have the internet. You're gonna have a lot of gridlock shut down. You know, the people that is gonna have electricity is the people that are gonna take that C-hip, man. So you're gonna have a lot of confusion, and that's why it's so imperative for you brothers to understand this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding shall be the stability of your times. Isaiah 33, right? This is the only thing that's gonna keep you stable, because you're gonna say, okay, this is prophecy, that's happening, that's going on. Oh, there's confusion here, right? It says, driven by famine and shalom to the Akim on the comment board. It says, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. Let me get a quick precept I just had before. Book of Jeremiah. Sorry, hold on. Salaki, 1 second. All right, we're coming into the time of great judgment, man. This is Jeremiah 30:5. For thus said the Lord Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. And ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Let me read verse 6 in the NLT. Now let me ask you a question. Do men give birth to babies? Then why do they stand there, ashen-faced, hands pressed against their sides like a woman in labor? You're going to have a lot of hunger pains, man. A lot of famine. We just read that, right? Driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. What's that guy? Shit, we always bring him out. Gerald Celente. When people have nothing to lose, they lose it. Right? He also said when the money stops flowing in the streets, blood starts flowing onto the streets. Okay? The money's tight as it is right now. People are losing it, right? Putting up TikTok videos saying it's so hard, the cost of living is terrible. I'm working 2 jobs, I'm working 3 jobs, I'm just paying bills. Because you're finding out you have always been a debt slave, a hamster on the wheel. Okay? You haven't been living. You've been borrowing money. Back in 2013-14, there was a report. It said that the average Ontarian owes about close to 40 grand, about 30 something thousand dollars, and that was over 10 years ago. You people have been living in debt, man. Okay? So back here, let me finish that. Verse 7. In all history, there has never been such a time of terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people Israel. Yet in the end, they will be saved, starting with the remnant. All right? Starting with that small remnant. Okay, now let me go to the next article. This is from City TV News, or CTV. Anti-authority narratives could tear fabric of society, intelligence report warns. Like I said, Esau is scanning, he's watching videos, he's collecting data, he's watching the Israelites. He's bringing out these intel reports, man. Not for no reason. Okay, he knows what the hell is going on. All right. This is again March 24th. We're in the time of what? The equinox, the month of war, aka March, aka Aries. All right, we're in the time of the Passover, the Pesach, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, we're about to have April 1st, which is not April Fool's Day. That's a day of Bel, which is demands a blood sacrifice. May 1st is also a heavy demonic day. So we're in a time of serious spiritual wickedness, man. And serious spiritual terror on the right-hand side from the Lord. So it says, threats against politicians have become increasingly normalized due to extremist narratives prompted by personal grievances and fueled by misinformation or deliberate lies, warns a newly released intelligence report. The report, prepared by a federal task force that aims to safeguard elections, says the Canadian violent extremist landscape has seen the proliferation of conspiracy theories, a growing lack of trust in the integrity of the state, and more political polarization, which is what? Division. And why the fuck would people trust you about growing lack of trust in the integrity? What integrity do you degenerates possess, man? All right, I'm talking about you politicians, you parliament members. You people are degenerates, man. That's plainly seen. That's plainly open. You can clearly see that the average person, these people I'm looking at right now in this video, these degenerates, they understand that. Damn Mohawk. These degenerates can understand that. So what are you trying to prove, Esau, about our integrity? The great honorable this, the prime minister, rise for the honorables. You people are degenerates, man. You've been caught lying out in the open, in the news, it comes out. You know, that's just hilarious, man. Esau's a madman. Baseless theories. Sounds, you know what's baseless? You know what else is baseless? That thing that you made people take, okay, in their body. That foreign agent. That was a baseless theory. Disinformation and misinformation. Right? What is disinformation? Disinformation is a pure lie, right? It's a clean-cut lie. Misinformation could be a little truth, but it doesn't lead you to the full truth, right? You start off with disinformation as a lie, but you can also start from the truth and be misinformed as well. You can have misinformation. Just like a lot of Israelites, they know they're Israelites, cool. They know the name of the Most High and His Son, cool. That's amazing, that's good. But then they'll tell you, oh, Revelation 13 and 16 is not talking about something inserted in your body. You guys are misinformed. Right? It says baseless theories, disinformation, and misinformation have spread to larger audiences, exposing online users to a vast network of narratives that undermine science. Again, what are they talking about? The thing that they made you people take, which was a baseless theory. Straight disinformation. Undermine science, systems of government, and traditional figures of authority, the report says. Violent rhetoric routinely fixates on elected officials with particular hostility towards high-profile women. The Canadian press used the Access to Information Act to obtain the June 2023 report by the Security and Intelligence Threats to Elections Task Force. Some passages in the secret Canadian eyes-only assessment were considered too sensitive to release. There's things that are not even released, man. So you Israelites, like I said, you like the apostle says, yabba dabba do Israelites that are just on the highways, reading scriptures, just aimlessly cursing out Esau and not watching your words and your speech, not being prudent in these times, not being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Esau's working, man. Esau's watching you. All right. Esau's gonna roll real soon, and he's gonna roll on us too. But you got to be extra careful in these times. That's my point. The federal body established in 2019 to protect the electoral process from foreign interference includes representatives of the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, the RCMP, Global Affairs Canada, and the Communications Security Establishment, Canada's cyber spy agency. Esau got that eye in the sky, man. Esau's watching. The report notes that while domestic terrorism threats are not strictly part of the task force's focus on foreign meddling, we recognize the need to provide assessments on this issue. The task force weighed the possible threat from violent extremism driven by politics, religion, and ideology. It concluded that of the three, a federal election would most likely be impacted by ideologically motivated violent extremism. There is no one-size-fits-all worldview for ideological extremism, the report says. Rather, threat actors are driven by a range of grievances, ideas, and guess what? Esau has his own actors. He has his crisis actors. Okay? Ideas and highly personalized narratives from across the traditional left to right wing spectrum, often deeply influenced by conspiracy theories. He keeps pushing out that conspiracy theory jargon, right? And he keeps pushing that because that's his smear, right? He'll just label you that. As soon as you say something, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Who was that? Was that George Bush, that degenerate? Yeah, where he said, let us never entertain outrageous conspiracy theories. I believe that was George Bush. It's the same degenerate who on the news, they asked him about, what's the deal with Skull and Bones? What's going on with that? What's that all about? What's 322? It's secret. It's so secret that I can't even talk about it. What the fuck does that mean? People are degenerates, man. People are degenerates. All right, it says, grievances may be fueled by elements including xenophobia, gender-related issues, or general anti-government sentiment. It says, while threats against politicians peak during election cycles or major political announcements, RCMP information showed that monthly and annual averages had remained relatively stable since September 2021. Ideologically motivated violent extremists have increasingly normalized threats against prominent public figures outside the election cycle, the report concludes. All threats to the Prime Minister, and look, people are mad. I remember this devil, Trudeau, he went to St. Thomas, southwestern Ontario, and a dude from London, Ontario drove out there because he knew he was going to be out there, and the dude threw a bunch of rocks at him. He's throwing rocks, and the dude got arrested, obviously, but people are mad. People are understanding. Everywhere this guy goes, Trudeau, everyone's saying, fuck Trudeau, fuck you, Trudeau, you piece of shit, you traitor, right? People, yo, the regular peon is understanding. That's what I'm saying. The regular peon is understanding that something's wrong. You're being screwed, okay? And there's a higher level to you being screwed because the politicians that are screwing you, they're still playing a game. The left and right wing, it's all part of the same eagle. It's all part of the same beast. All right, they're playing a game called Hegelian dialect. Okay, they'll give you a point, and then they'll give you a counterpoint. They'll let people argue, chaos ensue, and then they'll have a synthesis. They'll have a solution. Same thing, problem, reaction, solution. It's the same concept. All right, to lead you to a greater destination that the elites want you to go. The elites want you people enslaved, man. The elites want you for themselves via that thing in your body that they're gonna force people to take. Okay. It says all threats to the Prime Minister and other parliamentarians reported to the RCMP are triaged and assessed for a link to national security, the task force adds. About 20% of reported threats to the Prime Minister and 13% of those against parliamentarians between September 2021 and mid-2023 met the RCMP's national security threshold. While extremists... Hold on, let me see. So it says, while extremist narratives and conspiracy theories do not usually manifest themselves as an act of serious violence, they have the potential to negatively affect the fabric of Canadian society, the report says. Pretty much these devils, they don't want the truth out Too much information. You got, like I said, you don't have to watch the news, man. If you got if you got something upstairs in your head, you have alternative media, as they call it, right? You have an app called Telegram where people are sharing some serious information, man. Some things you will never see on Facebook, on Instagram. Those things are controlled by Google now, right? So you have these different things, but even those things are going to shut down soon, right? It says the RCMP did not respond to a request for comment in time for publication. CSIS, which is our, that's like this, not the CIA, but that's this intelligence agency of Canada, CSIS. Spokesman Eric Balsam said the 2023 assessment remains unchanged. CSIS Director David Vignault told the House of Commons committee this month the spy service is devoting about half of its counterterrorism resources to investigate. That's Satan, man. Click that shit. All right, it says this month, I'm reading again. CSIS Director David Vignault told the House of Commons committee this month the spy service is devoting about half of its counter-terrorism resources to investigate the threat of ideologically motivated violent extremism. We've seen a number of the threat vectors increasing, he said. Right, and like I said, they're really speaking about the Israelites, even though we don't have a drop of extremism in us. All right, you're never gonna find a brother trying to even purchase a firearm, any kind of explosive, any kind of talk about, yo, let's make a move on the parliament, let's make a move on this police station, let's make none of that shit. We're not talking about taking over the government, about sedition. We're prophesying about the return of our Lord Yahushai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. He's coming back with a host of angels, all right, to dethrone you other nations, decrown you, okay? Take your authority, strip your authority, and that's how you're going to be taken over, all right? And that's a great threat of extremism for them, because they know that's the truth. I'm talking about the elites, the oligarchs, okay? It says the task force report says anti-authority extremists have almost certainly leveraged social media posts about foreign interference in Canadian elections to reinforce pre-existing narratives around the inherent corruption of government institutions in Canada. However, a narrative on the scale of the stolen election rhetoric that prompted the January 6, 2021 breach of the U.S. Capitol has not emerged in the Canadian political landscape, the report notes. On the question of foreign interference, a broader companion report says that as of last June, the task force had seen no evidence of a significant cyber threat to Canadian electoral processes or election infrastructure from state actors. Political parties, candidates, and their staff continue to be targeted by cyber threat activity, however, and this may take the form of online espionage, disinformation, or fabricated videos known as deepfakes. The report adds, overall, the task force says sophisticated, pervasive, and persistent meddling efforts constitute a serious threat to Canada's national security and the integrity of its democratic institutions. For certain foreign states, foreign interference activities are part of their normal pattern of behavior in Canada and often peak during election periods. Let me see. Yeah, that was pretty much, the point. I wanted to get, on the disinformation more so, and all this foreign interference. That's Esau. Esau has his top hackers do his business. We don't know how it's gonna happen. He might, how he's gonna crash the system. Crypto's gonna fail. All these things are gonna fail, and it's gonna come down to the digital ID, the digital currency, all right, the CBDC. Okay. Anyway, with that, call halayim la Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rechakudash, double honesty, apostles and elders and bishops of GMS who rule well. Shalom to the elect, shalom to you, Akim.